say that like that.
Hey man, I'm a Ninja Turtles fan. Okay, I will ooze wherever I like.
This one drink that's not even bad, you won't drink, and I'm confused. I am in anger.
Good for you guys. I don't watch a lot of movies. I go outside. Okay?
I was waiting for you to put the headphones on, but that works too.
Wait.
Okay. Professional.
We've got a false start on the field.
We got our 5 seconds of silence. It doesn't matter where it's at.
Yeah, we're good.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Too Many Words podcast. I'm your host, Isaac William Joseph. Across the way from me is my best friend, Jordan Van Cleve, and over there is the official third wheel, Andrew Syme. And we have a very special guest today, I would say in studio, but this is their home. Hello, Melanie. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
No, I'm doing good.
We came to you today.
Yes.
I know that part is really cool. The fact that I watched you guys set this all up, and you made everything work right here on my kitchen table. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
To the listeners, if we seem a little bit offbeat this episode, it's because we haven't recorded a proper episode since June 2nd.
We have been on vacation.
And that was technically like a special, and so technically a proper episode. When did we record before that? Oh my goodness.
It would have been your episode 99.
Oh, that was the second half of May. Oh my gosh. We haven't
That's
recorded in a fat minute. We've been on a vacation, friends. And so even though you guys as an audience have not missed a beat.
It would have been I would say it would have been the Davenport episode, but even that wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the end of May?
That was not
It
even
was.
like a proper episode. But hey, I already know what I'm going to title this episode. It is a new era. This is episode 101, okay? We've been doing this for almost 2 years, and we're still kicking ass. We're still being super consistent.
Coming up
We're
on
still being
104.
your favorite podcast, okay? But, it was nice to have a small break. We hope to bring you still awesome quality podcast content. And so, yeah, here we are. Do we have any announcements?
Well, I'd say it's currently Monday, July 8th, 7:26 p.m. Wow. Yeah.
Partially cloudy. About 82 degrees. Sorry,
the sun is just starting to slightly go down, Tom, and it's just absolutely beautiful outside.
We do have announcements.
Yes.
When does this episode air again?
This episode airs... Oh, God. I don't know.
Hang on. Let's find out.
It's July
Because
8th.
99, 100, 101. So July 27th.
July 27th means you guys listening now have a month and some change until the Too Many Burgers, The Second Bite podcast live event and movie premiere. So please, it's a free entry podcast live show, okay?
The movie's not free, though.
The movie is not free. It is $3 for a ticket. Sorry, paying for theater houses is expensive, and so that's just what we're gonna do. But yes, Melanie, have you listened to our podcast?
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
so I've told quite a few guests that because our podcast is prompt based, there might be a few parts where you're like, "Oh, I'm a guest on the podcast. We barely talked about what I'm doing." That's saved for nearing the end of the podcast. We're going to really dive into you, but we could shoot the shit with literally anyone, and you're a pretty awesome person to do that with as well.
I try.
So, yeah, we've gotten to learn about you from a distance, through podcast episodes.
I think everybody
and a live event, but you've been absolutely awesome. So
Why do you make us all sound like creepers, like hiding in a bush?
We are.
Well,
We've just been learning
like
about
that.
it from a distance. Don't worry about it. We're not, we're not being weird about it or anything.
I don't know if it makes you sound worse or me, because like I said, everybody that's listened to the podcast, like, I'm not a shy person. I'm an open book. And obviously, the stuff that I've discussed on the podcast that I've been a part of, I'm like, meh, it'll help somebody.
So, Instagram shout-outs. Do we even attempt that?
Well,
We've
the
gotten like 20
notifications.
ever since then. Oh, snap. Sorry, that's someone talking about how pro wrestling is like drag.
I've already got
What?
it pulled up.
Oh, snap. Let's see how far back it
That's
goes.
all the way 2 weeks. It goes back 2 weeks. So
Only
it's already
2
all,
weeks?
all the way at the bottom.
Sorry. If you find dissatisfaction with not getting a shout out this episode because we haven't recorded in 2 months almost,
Blame
Just let us
unfollow
know.
and follow again. So we'll get you next time.
Yes, that
Sorry,
works too.
but it's just too.
okay.
We should have wrote down everything, but we did not, and so
Okay, I guess I will read them off then. The ones that
Oh,
we
sure.
can. Spotted.dp. I don't know.
shout out to Megan Drake for following us on Instagram. She is an
See, I
awesome
knew that was her.
photographer and has offered us her skills for August 31st. Too many burgers. That we are going to have a photographer at the event. Aren't we cool?
Yes.
We're so cool.
That's
Headlocked Comic. started
Headlocked
following
comic,
us.
Michael Kingston. I felt so awesome when he did that.
Sardonic Sadist.
That's me.
Is that? Yeah, that's you.
Yeah. What is sadism?
Sadism is masochism is when you enjoy giving pain. Sadism is when you enjoy receiving pain. But it was a play on words because sardonic means very like down, morose, very not necessarily depression, but just like ugh.
It's like a step
And-
above depression, isn't it?
Pretty much, just kind of like you're a curmudgeon, like, eh. And so, with everybody feeling a little bit under the weather or depressed lately, with just everything going on, and I think at the time I created that it was during COVID, so it was like
Wonderful time. Simon's favorite
being
time.
down and
yeah.
enjoying it type of thing. Yeah.
2020 was a good year.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Rehomer started following us.
Oh, my wife started
Nice.
following us? Oh, hell yeah.
Artisrad.com started following us.
Artisrad.com.
Scrolling up more.
No.
A little fast.
Breen Jason.
Thank you, Breen Jason. You followed us during Art March, so I assume you are one of the artists or patrons at Art March, and it was awesome that you followed us today.
And that is as much as we got.
Heck yeah. So, yeah, sorry if you followed us during the dark period of our podcast vacation. It was very well needed. A lot of stuff has happened in our personal and professional lives ever since then. We will definitely not talk about all of it. But, guys, our podcast is segment based. A lot of stuff pertains to what has happened in the last week. But of course, this being a different occasion, we could talk about anything that you've learned in the last month. So, guys, starting with Jordan, what you learned this week?
Dang it. I actually had like a really good one. No.
I mean,
You better turn that phone
in
off,
the
boy.
span of
No,
our
like
last
I
recording.
actually had a real one.
You
I don't know
got
what it
this.
was.
You
I
got
can go
this.
first. I know exactly what
first.
I'm going to say.
Update your freaking
This is
system and pull
garbage.
it.
This is what Jordan educated me on literally like yesterday. There's Wile E. Coyote, and then there's another Looney Tune that looks exactly like Wile E. Coyote,
Yeah.
which is named Ralph Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I did not.
You never
You
watched
thought it was
the
the s-
sheepdog ones?
I just thought it
You
was
thought it was
Wile E.
the
Coyote
same thing?
in that series.
No. One
No,
is-
he literally says, "Good morning, Ralph." When they're
Really?
clocking in at the tree.
Really.
It's been-
Not to mention, why would
Texas, I've seen Looney Tunes.
why would
It's
the
been
desert
a very long
coyote
time. Bro,
be in the middle of the forest with
Okay,
the
so this
sheep
is how
and
I
the
saw Looney
sheepdog?
Tunes. This is how I saw Looney Tunes as a kid. Okay, whenever I saw
Shapes and
repeat
colors.
characters and not their typical scenery, I just thought it was like a play on that these are like actors. You know, I thought like the Looney Tunes production took it so seriously. Like, this is our crew. Let's take this crew and put them in scenes that are different sometimes.
I mean,
kind of
there's
like
Different
Chris
scenarios.
Hemsworth is
Yeah.
in this movie, and then we'll put him in this movie.
There's-
Kind of like that. That's
I
what
mean,
I
there's
thought.
there's some
It's
characters.
like, oh,
that
Wiley's
move
playing as a
around
guy named
different
Ralph
things.
today. I don't know.
Because like Bugs Bunny goes across,
Yeah, he does everything.
different scenes and everything, but he's
Yeah.
like one of their main characters, so they're going to use him for everything.
Yeah, that's what
You
I
know?
thought with Wile E. Coyote.
Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd,
And so yeah, that's just
Yosemite Sam.
I just, as much as I loved Looney Tunes growing up, I just did not know that. And so
I have a very
bad.
unpopular opinion because I disliked Bugs Bunny
really,
when I was younger.
tell me why.
He just be doing shit. Like he gets into so
Big
much
chungus.
stuff.
Is it because
And-
he's an asshole?
And a little bit.
is.
He
He
is.
is,
He's
though.
a little bit.
He really
He
is.
antagonizes everybody.
And I love it.
And everybody thinks it's hilarious. And it just reminded me of like my siblings picking on me. And I'm like,
Bugs
just-
Bunny's a bully.
so yeah. Hot take. I don't like Bugs Bunny.
That is okay with me.
Oh, good.
So what is
She's
your favorite Looney Tunes character?
Honestly, did you guys ever watch Tom and Jerry?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know Jerry's little mouse
Nephew?
that he takes
Oh.
nephew or there was a Christmas episode and he wakes up and he's
Remember
like
his name.
feed an orphan type program
Okay.
and he wakes up, there's this little mouse on his doorstep and has a note pinned to him. That little mouse ate everything in sight to the point, I think at one point in the episode, he eats a chair leg.
Okay.
Or it would
watched a
be
lot of
his
Tom and
grandpa, the one that sang Froggy did ride and he goes, he did ride it Crambo, and he pulls one of Tom's whiskers out.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He uses
Yeah.
it for his guitar.
Yes. One of those.
I watched a lot of Tom and Jerry. I wasn't as much
Tom
of a
and John
Looney
Jerry
Tunes.
was sick. Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jordan or Sime or Melanie, what have you learned this last week?
That I know
Jordan's
how to do
still
a
a
lot
process.
more than I thought I did.
Heck yeah, with
Like
what?
I surprised myself. Getting together stuff to start my own business, getting together stuff to start my own podcast. And you don't know what you're capable of until you're kind of forced into it. And you don't have another choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, I really can do this.
Human resolve.
I like that.
Huh.
Yeah, at Des Moines Con, someone asked me what keeps me motivated in doing this. And the first answer was doing it with friends. You constantly have an excuse to do cool stuff with your friends.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we personally have a really good balance because we do stuff outside of the podcast. Because, you have, those podcasts where, we're friends, but we only hang out during the podcast. And so that kind of, changes the friendship. But I think we got a pretty good tight ship here. We all slept at the same place.
I
the
only
last-
hate Isaac on the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. He's super nice to me when nobody else is looking.
I hate both of them in real life.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
yeah. Jordan's super insecure about people thinking that he likes me more than a friend, so he's purposely a jerk in public. Yeah.
See me, I would play devil's advocate. Like I would play into that so bad.
Oh yeah.
It'd be hilarious.
I mean, I think
You
I
taking
kissed him
picture
for a
of
New
my
Year's.
hand or what? Are you?
Hey, give me that.
Oh, thank you.
Why'd you take my phone? Do you like my Bible verse on there?
Well,
I think it's one of those things where people are gonna think what they're gonna think. So you might as well be yourself.
Don't worry.
And
It was totally a joke. Nobody thinks that Jordan likes me more than a friend. Don't worry.
Except for
I keep forgetting that you don't know us too well to know if we're kidding or not. Sometimes.
there's two people that actually do think that.
well, that and it's the ADHD autism thing in my brain, so I miss social cues.
You're cool.
Yeah.
We do too.
Yeah, I don't pick up on hints like that.
It's okay.
I usually miss the ball and it hits me in the face.
There are two people who think that Jordan and I like each other more than friends, and that's my mother and my sister.
Hey, if you don't have a friend that makes your family question your sexuality, are they really a friend?
So not with Isaac did my family question that, but with my other friend Charlie did they definitely question that.
My family and my best friend's family have both, at one time or another, questioned whether or not we were dating or sleeping together or getting married or something.
Getting married.
Or kidding.
I
what
would-
a
yeah.
what a jump! So when you tying the knot? We're tired of waiting.
Well, we've lived together before. We've been friends for almost 19 years.
Hey, that's
So, yeah.
That
that's
doesn't mean that you're getting married.
Hey, man.
I don't know.
People
if-
assume.
If she ain't marrying me after 19 years, this relationship is over. Okay, I need commitment.
Oh man, what you learned this week? What you learned this week?
Simon, you go first.
Have you had enough time to
Man, this
process?
man went
No,
from
you
first
need
to
to-
last.
you
my
need to do a
brain,
system
my
update.
brain just
You need to do a system update and add more storage.
push the
Simon.
button. It's right there.
Simon, what you
Didn't
learned
push it
this
hard
week?
enough.
Oh man, there's just so much.
Simon honestly
different
probably
things.
did learn a lot. This
We have
past-
all learned a lot. Oh my gosh.
Let's see. First thing that I learned, there's a lot more biting insects than I remember. 2, digging holes sucks. Completely forgot about it. Now I remember. Let's see. What else? did I
As
learn
if you
this
didn't
week?
remember digging holes for your fence that you put in.
I did that with an auger. I had to do all this by hand.
You didn't.
I went out there with a shovel.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a little bit more difficult.
And
Definitely.
this sucked. I will not be doing it again.
Well, hey, thankfully you probably will never have to.
In about 10 years.
Another
Oh, really?
thing I've learned
That's awful.
They
is that a
lost
lot
10 to
of your
15.
professional relationships should stay only professional. Maybe at times more than professional, but
You
yeah.
should always have like that switch in your brain
I
Yeah.
disagree.
where you go from professional mode to personal mode.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah.
But like,
I've worked with friends before, like at a job. I've worked
Work with
with family
friends
members,
currently.
that type of thing. Yeah, but it's definitely important to remember what role you're in, where you're at, and
I
which
can agree with
which
that.
side of the brain you need to be thinking
Yeah.
with.
Yep.
We got some wisdom over here from Melanie.
Oh, trust me.
I always say that people have that phrase where like, I didn't come here to make friends. I always say that I did come here to make friends.
Oh,
So
it depends on the job. Like, I mean,
I can't work with someone that I can't be friends with.
like at the paper mill,
Oh, I can't.
At the paper mill.
you're around each other all the time, so it's impossible to not be friends with the people that you work with. So, and you kind of just all meld together and become one giant family. So,
But see,
What you looking at?
You got this one
I was thinking about that.
in your face.
What you just
You
said.
got that one in your face.
I have family members that I don't consider my friends. So
That's
I
true.
wouldn't consider coworkers necessary. Well, they might be like a family because some of them I don't like. Like there's some family members that I have I love to death. That does not mean in any capacity of the word that I like them at all.
Trueness.
So
Yeah.
I can be cordial and polite and work with you and be on like a first name basis without being your friend.
Yeah.
And I think you can still care about somebody's well-being and their growth as a person and not be their friend. This is called being an empathetic human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids say human being.
Human being.
Yep.
Beans.
All right, Jordan, what you learned this week?
Beans. So, I learned that a department without a manager can be very stressful.
You wouldn't just like assume that?
No, you would think it'd be like fun party time. Well, the cats, or while the
No.
while the cat's away, the mice will play. Right?
did
you know?
your manager at your painting business leave?
He went to another painting business.
Mm.
They offered him more money, and he has a new child on the way. So
Yeah, more money
Oh,
to
yeah.
do the
That
same
makes
kind of
sense.
painting? Yeah.
a lot more money.
A lot more money to paint the same house, bro.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
If they're offering him more money for the same thing he's
Yeah.
doing now.
Yeah.
It's a little
Cool.
bit more stressful about painting.
Oh, and I can say this because
Yes.
this episode's not being released for a couple weeks.
Okay.
I have 2 job interviews this week.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good job.
And they're both offering me more money than I make now.
Yeah.
So-
Good job.
Nice.
And I'm
That's amazing.
hoping to kind of like maybe pit them against each other.
Oh yeah, you
I have one
more than definitely can.
Right. I have one interview Tuesday. I have one interview Wednesday. And so Tuesday I'm going to say, well, get back to me as soon as you can because I have another interview tomorrow with so-and-so. And then Wednesday I'm going to be like, well, get back to me as soon as you can because I just had an interview with so-and-so yesterday and hate for you to
Yes.
mess up.
And,
So,
and don't be
Yes.
afraid to be like, well, so and so's offering me this amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
Can you do
Totally
better?
going to do it.
Make them fight.
I'm going to create a bidding war if I can.
Oh yeah, you more than definitely can, especially with like the state of everything and not being able to get enough people to work. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
That has been what we've learned this week / past month and a half. So, on to the next. It's time to get them lips wet. Are you ready to get your lips wet, Melanie?
Sure.
Did
Hell
That's a
yeah.
loaded question. Sure.
did you remember the hot take, Carmen, by chance?
No.
I
you got
think
a
he
hot
does it
take,
on purpose.
if you got a hot take, then you can ask it or say it. The
We'll do the
Yeah.
get your lips wet. It'll give me enough time to think.
yeah. No politics.
Oh, that's a kick-ass backpack.
Oh, thank you.
Heck yeah, it is.
I bought this. This was an Etsy purchase, but this came with it. It's old.
All right, what did he get us? Thank you so much, Jordan, for getting us the drinks for this week.
There's fuzzy.
Oh.
Oh, what is that?
Aw, snap.
Looks like. Oh, at first that looked like alcohol. Minute Maid in a can.
Agua fresca.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I've never seen it either.
All right,
Mongo.
aguas frescas.
Now, do we open them at the same time, or how's this go?
Yeah, as
Synchronization.
ASMR as possible.
Okay.
I fucked it. My fingers didn't allow it.
That's so
I hurt
good.
my fingers.
So good. All
I had to
right.
stop myself.
So yeah, Minute Maid aguas frescas, juice beverage, mango. Now, how is
I've
this
had
different?
It's-
I've had the strawberries of these, but I haven't had the mango one yet. I've been excited to try it, so I'm really glad you got these.
Just FYI, Melanie, you don't have to abide by the rules. You are the guest. You
Yeah,
have
you
power
do whatever
here.
you want. You can promote yourself or bury yourself, whatever you want to say.
Okay, Jordan, now slap that drink off the table of Isaac's so that he can feel the same pain.
What do you mean? Oh no,
Has
not at her home.
3% juice, a blend of apple and
Oh
mango.
yeah, we were
Wow.
supposed to shake it. I forgot about that.
We were supposed to shake it.
But I did. You know, I put it. Shoved
Now
it in
the
the
3%
backpack.
juice is all at the bottom,
This
Jordan.
isn't
damn it.
actually too bad in calories.
Oh, that's really
90
good.
calories per container.
Wow.
I can't really
Sugars
smell
is
it.
a little
I mean, I
high,
can't complain.
but, I mean, it's got 22
Tastes
grams
like a
of
mango
sugar.
drink. Tastes.
Do you
20
know what's
grams of
funny,
that
though?
Is added
What's that?
sugars.
This is great because you guys are all looking at the same label I am. Okay, so if you notice, 8 ounces is your first serving, and then on the right you have 90 calories because, of course, there's 2 servings per container. If you look at all of the milligrams, they double from the left to the right. But if you look at the percentages, they do not.
Oh,
How does
that is
work?
strange.
Well, total carbs doubles, but everything else goes up a little bit, either more than half.
That's so strange.
Because like sodium,
It's
like,
probably because
more
it's
than
like-
doubles.
2.5 or 20.5, and they just don't want to type
They
that
don't want.
much.
They don't want to tell you what's actually in it. They don't want to tell you the actual percentage. Math is hard.
I can't help but think this is just a lesser version of Arizona mango drinks.
This seems like
I
what
don't-
you'd
it
buy
tastes-
for a cocktail mixer.
It tastes like it has more juice in it than the Arizona ones.
This was right next
Yeah.
to a lot of the alcoholic beverages.
Speaking of alcoholic beverages, have you guys ever had a Juarito,
Nope.
What is that?
Mexican soda
Nope.
No.
in the glass bottles?
Oh, yes.
They now have an alcoholic version.
Okay.
What?
I haven't
Where?
tried it. I don't know. I've got to find these things. I
I'm
saw it
going to
online.
have
See,
to do
I
some
only know
hunting.
them by the American name, Jarrito.
Look at her.
What?
It is a J. It's an H
Jarrito.
sound.
I know.
Jarrito. So I drink those all the time. I'm sorry.
very
I
good.
said no at first because like
I'm gonna
as soon
send
as
you to a
said,
store in
Speaking of
Perry.
alcohol, and I don't drink, and so I was like, no.
Well, and it's one of those. They've never made an alcoholic beverage, but everybody jumped on the alcoholic
The malt
sodas and
liquor.
the alcoholic juices trend that they did too.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my goodness, that's so cool.
Fun fact, way back in the day, I wanted to make some extra money, and one of the things was taking surveys. And one of the surveys that I ended up doing was for Mountain Dew, and it was for their hard Mountain
Yeah.
Dew flavors. And I was sitting there and I was going through and they were asking me like, would you drink this if it was this flavor or that flavor? And then like at the very end, it's like, what flavor would you rather see become a flavor? And I'm sitting there and like, if we're doing hard Mountain Dew and I type in Baja Blast.
They did do a hard Baja Blast, but
Yes, sir.
I really wish I could have been on Mountain Dew's marketing team because I could have made so much money. Because how awesome would it have been if their slogan for the hard alcohol was "Do it hard"?
Do it hard.
Do the do.
Do the do. Do it hard.
Do hard.
That part. Especially since it's supposed to be more grown because it's aimed at adults
Exactly.
for alcohol.
Do the do.
Yeah.
Do hard.
Do it hard.
Do it hard.
Do it hard.
You have to have the it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Die hard. Do hard.
Do it hard. Just do it.
Hard. I am hard.
Do
You sound like you need a helmet. You just went from do it hard to do hard to hard to I am hard. Like, what?
I don't know what he's
I
on.
want to know where this Venn diagram is.
I don't know what he's on.
Okay, so Jordan does
Dehydration.
have a helmet. We usually leave it at home when we're
Okay.
recording.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Well, he
Fellas.
can't lick the windows when he wears it, so. Sorry.
Dink. Dink.
What would we rate this drink out of 10, friends?
I actually really like this.
I really like this
I
as
think
well.
this
I
would
don't
go
really,
really
like mango.
well with rum. Like a coconut rum.
Malibu.
Yeah.
I would do a solid 7.5.
I was gonna give it an 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had shook it before I took a drink like I was
I don't know.
supposed to, because I didn't read the can either, I probably would have given it an 8. But I would say it's 7.5.
I'll give this a 6.
I just kind of like, stir it like I'm about to drink a fine wine. You know? I'm definitely going to give this a 7.5.
Yeah.
This is...
I think it's pretty refreshing. I think it's definitely not as like syrupy as
It-
certain juices
It
are. or
definitely
drinks
feels like this is supposed to be a drink mixer.
are. It does. To
Like
me,
I
it does.
said, it was.
This is 100% like you buy this because you are making alcoholic beverages.
It was right next to the beer and stuff. But then
Well,
again,
I'm
all
not-
the teas were. It was weird.
Well, a lot of people like making their own hard tea now.
That's true.
Because, I mean, have you ever had any of the hard
I don't like
iced
twisted
teas?
tea. Twisted
Nope.
tea is bad.
Twisted tea tastes terrible.
But
And I love
have-
tea.
I like sweet tea too much.
I love-
it
I
would
love
kill
tea.
sweet tea for me.
There's certain alcohols that mix well with tea. Crown Royal Peach
I have an iced
mixes
tea
well
vodka.
with sweet tea because
Door.
it just kind of works. Hello, cat.
That's Queen
What's up, cat?
Latifah. That's my
Yeah.
cat. She's a diva. She's straight up a diva.
What's up?
Did you just snap
No.
at the cat?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, she comes like a dog. If you called her.
She's got spiky hair.
That's because we just actually
recently-
oiled her coat today.
Oh.
She's had dry
I
skin.
recently tried the High Noon. Their new teas. They have teas. It's a new thing for them. High Noon used to make seltzers. Apparently they're bad. I've never had them, but they just recently came out with these teas, and the teas they actually taste like tea. So I really like those.
And see, maybe it's because I live down south, so it's kind of made me snobby when it comes to tea.
Yeah.
Like, people up here are like,
Okay.
do you want some tea? I'm like, is
So,
it sweet tea? No, but we have sugar packets. What?
So,
There's
It's
only
blasphemy.
Sweet
No, sweet
I-
tea. What kind
Yeah.
of non-soul having individual do you have to be to drink
No.
unsweetened tea?
Thank you, for saying
you,
that. Oh my
you
goodness.
lived in the southeast, and I lived
in
down in
Florida,
the
I lived in
southwest.
Alabama, and I lived in
So,
North Carolina.
my question for you: for when it comes to tea, the tea up here, it's weak.
It's
Yeah.
ass. Yes.
So you guys have lived here your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down south, tea is tea. Up here, it's more like tea flavored water.
Down
Yeah.
south, if you ask for tea, you're getting sweetened tea.
Yeah.
Like, there
Yeah.
is no
There is no
unsweetened
unsweet tea. It is
No,
the South. You are
Yeah.
getting sweet tea no matter where you go. Also, there
And
are
if
some
you're
parts-
lucky, it's sun tea.
oh yeah,
My
sun
grandma
tea
used
is
to
so
make sun
good.
tea. She would make it.
I actually have a glass
Sun tea pitcher.
pitcher for sun tea.
Yep.
You know, it's weird that it's called unsweetened tea because the word "un" means that it was previously sweetened. So therefore, there's sweet tea, and then there was tea that was sweetened, and then they extracted the
It's
sweetness.
because
and then
Northerners
it's called
ruin things.
unsweet tea. Like that's just grammatically not incorrect, but improper and untruthful. It's
And
deceptive.
then favorite comfort food when you lived down.
My
south.
favorite comfort food:
Backyard, whatever. you got.
singular food or meal.
Well, go with both.
Singular food, it probably would have been baked mac and cheese. Not gonna lie.
All right.
That's fan favorite.
Biscuits and gravy.
Definitely a favorite breakfast food.
Oh yeah.
I would say that's right up there. But favorite meal, like for me to cook, like if I'm cooking comfort food, was probably either baked pork chops or fried chicken with greens made with turkey necks or ham hocks, baked macaroni and cheese, cornbread, and then usually sweet tea.
Nice.
Can we record here all the time?
Yeah. I mean, no. Yes, no. Kind of. Ask
Maybe.
her first.
No, I did say you guys could record here.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. How do you feel being the first guest in the new era of us needing a new studio space so we just travel a little bit more?
What Isaac's saying is that we're homeless,
Yeah, only the podcast.
podcast wise.
I think it's cool that you guys travel though. Like,
Well, that wasn't a legitimate idea. Is that we are a traveling podcast and that we don't have a studio, but like,
Yeah, we wanted to get
I don't
like
want to do
Pretty
that.
soon we'll have a camper.
We're trying to
so-
get a camper. So if we could record there full time, that'd be sick.
that would be awesome.
Yeah. Even if it's nowhere crazy, like maybe we're parked in your parking lot right now and we're doing that there.
Yeah, and
You
then
know?
record there.
Yeah.
Not
That's
to mention,
really
it
neat,
makes
though.
it easier for guests because we can just take the studio
To them.
Yeah.
wherever.
Yeah. Not to mention that even when we don't have guests during this era, we can just still be in the studio and understand that it's not going to be great.
We're definitely going to get pulled over a lot because they're going to think we're Walter Whiting out there. But
Yeah. But you know what?
That's
That's,
okay.
cool. You
I've
know,
never seen that
a
show.
cop that
you've
assumes that
never
we're cool.
seen Breaking Bad?
Nope.
I've only seen snippets of it, so don't feel bad. All I know is that you're cooking meth in a camper.
Yeah. Which is A-okay. Well, it's not okay. But for people that think we're doing meth, we'll be A-okay. Because
No,
we're not.
not doing meth.
We're not
cooking.
doing meth or cooking meth. We're not getting high on our own supply unless you're talking about microphones and using them. So,
Unless you're talking about getting high on life.
Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
So, yeah, that was the Get Them Lips Wet drink segment. We have no fancers because, or do we? Or do we have fancers and like we got to go back super far on something? What are you doing, sir?
Texting my father.
Oh,
All right.
what are you texting him?
My dad just sent me a message and he said, "I want to cry," and I was like, "Oh, that's not
Oh.
good."
Same.
Is it because he's so proud of his son?
No, it's because his Xbox just broke.
Aw.
I'm sorry. I thought it was so much worse, but that is bad. But I thought something died or someone died, and so
Something did die, Isaac. His Xbox.
I'm laughing because I'm relieved that nothing
Yeah.
awful is happening.
That part. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is your fancers segment?
Fancers is typically
Fan
like
answers.
it started with
You know,
what is the question of the episode, and we'd say that near the end because maybe it would be related to what we talked about or not. It was really just something that we would want to start doing to get our audience involved.
There's a certain segment that
Okay.
he is forgetting that is actually greatly important.
Oh yeah, word of the week. Silly
man.
Isaac. Not to
Dude,
mention we have hot
I
takes.
tell you what,
You're going too far forward.
Word of the week was supposed to be the very first thing we did. Jordan, what's the word of the week?
Meretricious. Or meretricious. Sorry.
This guy. We gotta get a new reader.
Let me see.
Can you
Well,
play the sound bite?
Yeah, I'm about to.
He's waiting on an ad. He did not get the premium.
See, I took a
word per
screenshot
day.
of the word so, for like when this happens, but that doesn't help me when I want to press the audio on it.
Oh.
So,
So yeah, Fancers started because question of the week started first.
Meretricious.
Meretricious. Tell us what meretricious is.
Attractive on the surface, but having in reality no value or substance. I feel like we had this already.
No.
I feel like I know several people that fit that definition.
Meretricious.
With her meretricious style of dressing everyone.
So like just
Notice
like
as soon
When
as
they're
we
beautiful,
want.
on
Just
the
a pretty
outside,
face.
they're freaking evil on the
Yeah,
inside.
but there's also companies that do that. Where
Yes.
the job
Yeah.
will look really appealing and they'll dress it up and then you get there and it's
Hell
hell in a
on
handbasket.
wow.
Or somebody sells you a lemon car, like it looks great, sounds great.
I've had
you're
plenty
good.
of meretricious cars.
When
You
they-
drive off
when
the
they
lot,
sell
get
you
2
a-
miles
when
down
they
the
sell
road,
you
and
a
it
Pinto.
Matilda's on your ass.
Yeah. I bought a truck that had a broken frame, and I didn't know until I drove it home 2 hours.
Bingus. Chingus.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I was like, why is my truck bed swinging?
I've also got a hot take.
What's your hot take, sir?
Oh no.
It's better to live in the north than in the south.
Oh, relevant.
Why?
That's
Are we talking about like Norway?
No, it's the hot take.
All right. Why?
It's not a why question. We're supposed to debate this.
Yeah.
We're supposed to
so
pick a
give
side.
me your why.
We're supposed to pick a side.
Okay, pick a side and then tell me your why.
I am against my own hot take.
Okay, it's better to live in the South.
Yes. It's cold up here. What's wrong with you people?
I want to live in Georgia simply because of Hollywood. Yeah.
Freaking
what I wanna
negative
do.
30-degree temperatures up here.
Yeah, but like it's
My body is
hot.
not built for this shit.
But a lot of the southern states, even though I want to go to Georgia, has the worst combination of weather 10 months out of the year, which is hot and wet. The air is wet.
You
Okay,
live
but
here.
It's super humid.
90%.
It's 90% humidity, and it's like 98 degrees outside, you
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing
Give it a
down
month and a
there.
half. Give it a month and a
Only
half. It's gonna be
difference is
different.
yeah, it's going to be worse. I read a study back when I was trying to figure out why the hell Iowa was so humid. Because everybody
Isn't it
always
the
gave me
farming?
crap about living down south and isn't it hot and isn't it humid? And I'd get up here and I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
It's hot, but it ain't humid.
It's something like 70 or 80% of the humidity in the state of Iowa is because of the corn. Because corn holds so much moisture,
it's
it
the
traps the humidity near the ground.
Freaking Corn County, guys.
Whereas, okay, so if you go to Florida, yes, it's humid, but it's everywhere. You come up here, the humidity is literally only about 8 foot above ground level because the corn just traps it right there. So you feel like you're just wearing all of it.
that you're just walking through pea soup.
That.
It's not great.
So, like, during the summer, if you're driving through areas with large amounts of corn, you can see, like, these patches
Yeah.
of, like, fog.
Haze. Yeah.
Haze. That is just the humidity just from the corn just shitting itself. You know?
That part.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'd rather smell like ocean air than fucking corn condensation. Like, I'm good.
Not to mention, like,
corn condensation.
That
Yeah.
part. And I'm
Down-
sorry, guys don't have to deal with humidities, okay? Guys talk
Are
about
you talking to giant
Have you
man
ever
over
seen-
here?
guys talk
Jordan?
about swamp ass. Women have
Yeah.
to deal with humidities. That's what I call it.
fatter gentlemen have to deal with both.
I'm a little bit heavy. This is how I apply deodorant. That's how I do
I
that.
like how he threw that little swoop in the middle.
Yeah.
Not to mention the
Like you were drawing a mustache under your pecs.
the other thing that you don't have to worry about when it comes to the heat and humidity up here is that unfortunate moment when your balls decide to stick to the side of your leg.
Okay. You ever relate to that?
No,
No?
absolutely not.
All right.
I feel like
I don't think they can relate to that, Jordan. I
would-
don't.
No. Nope.
I feel like it'd be in relation to the humidities that we mentioned earlier.
Well,
You
yeah,
ever
I've worn a sports bra outside when it's super hot like this, and literally had to wring sweat out of my sports bra. Like that's how bad it gets because you have to think this is your core where you hold all your heat, and then you put a bra on, and then you put a shirt on top of it, and you sweat, and it feels disgusting.
Sometimes my work socks get like that.
There's people that will buy the sweat.
I mean, yeah.
There are people that buy farts in a jar. Okay, of that I have no doubt, but it's just not my thing. Sorry, not interested.
Oh man,
I've always contemplated just like pretending to be a woman online.
the multiple businesses
selling,
I would
like,
be in.
used
If I was a woman.
undergarments and just like taking random things and kind of like making them smell like they've been worn, but they're just new out of the package.
And you know what's funny? You don't think women do that?
Oh yeah, I know they do.
I guarantee you there are women selling panties online that they've never worn.
That's true.
But ain't no one gonna buy it from a man.
No, but I'm just saying, like, what's the difference
Dude.
between a woman pretending and you pretending to be a woman pretending?
Yeah.
Same shit,
You
different
just
pile.
gotta have a female eBay photo.
That Brett.
Yeah. It
Well,
could be-
I bet
you
Isaac
could have
can probably sell some of his clothes.
I mean, that's just me selling clothes at that point.
There was a
You
woman.
want my $30 shorts?
I saw a YouTube video because it was like weird professions or
Oh,
something.
that woman that's
There's a
taking
woman-
underwear straight out of the package.
No,
dipping it
there's
into
a
tuna
woman
can.
that was selling farts in a jar. She made over 200 grand in a year, putting her farts
Damn,
in jars.
We're in the wrong profession, boys.
What?
Hey, man. I grew up on the
200
internet
grand?
in the
I don't even
early
make
2000s.
that in a singular
I know
year, and I
how
go and work
far
a
farts
job.
and jars can go.
All you gotta do is butt burp in a jar and you're good. You're good to go. You're
That
set
is
for
a
life.
quote. That is a quote right there.
They didn't catch the one I made. That's
What?
okay. It's
What?
not.
What'd
It's
you
not
say?
safe for this podcast, anyway. So
Okay, great.
You know, it's
Do
already
you want to talk about
recorded.
how someone wanted to pay the Hawk Tuah girl $600 for her spit?
yes.
Yeah, the internet is
Yeah.
a weird place.
I just
Yeah.
okay. So
Welcome
it.
to the
Yeah.
internet. Take a
I
look
don't
around.
understand. Like, okay, and maybe this is my hot take, but how are you going to become popular for hawking a loogie on your man's junk? If you want to engage in some oral activities, male to female, female to male, vice versa, whatever. Really?
Make sure
you
you're
just
married.
sucked the boogers out of the back of your nose, and the sound that came out of your mouth makes me think of somebody spitting into a spittoon on the side of a freaking saloon in a western. That ain't sexy.
You
I
gotta
don't
give
think
them
of it
that.
like that.
What?
Because
You
like
gotta give it a little Hawk
Dude,
Tuah.
that-
Spit all that thing, you know what I'm
if-
saying?
if you want the booger part, you gotta get in there. You gotta.
Oh, whoa. This is
but-
a very audible experience.
No, but
This
okay,
is a
so
podcast.
How did you even make that noise?
Please.
that.
Oh, it
Okay,
sounds
he's
like
snoring.
It sounds like snoring.
Well, okay,
Oh, yeah.
so the sound, without getting super in the mic, the sound that she's talking about, because everybody's they've onomatopoeied it to shit,
yeah.
so they've spelled it out, and it looks like Hawk Tuah. But if you think about the sounds that you're making, literally that first sound is the
Yeah.
in the back of
Yep,
your throat.
Yep.
The loogie sound. I'm sorry, you put boogers anywhere near my lady parts, and I will kick
Well, it's not
your
for
ass.
you, okay?
Okay, well, if you want boogies on your man bits, go for it. Not me,
It's
no.
lasting lubrication.
That's Slimer on your junk. I don't think so.
All right,
Maybe
moving
he's-
on.
Maybe he's really into
I
slime,
regret bringing
okay?
up the Hawk Tuah girl.
Maybe he likes...
We're already into side quests. Let's bring up some more side quests. Jordan, you got any side
Oh,
quests?
I've got a good one.
All
My
right.
grandparents celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, and it was a huge celebration. It was great. We had a
I
lot of
love
fun.
watching your grandpa, like, wheel around your grandmother.
That
in
was-
a-
okay,
in
so-
a red wagon.
There was a thing. On their wedding day, someone stole their car. It was a friend. So they just took it and drove it up the street a couple blocks and hid it from them, right? So they were like, what are we going to do? So someone brought them a red wagon, and it was like, here you go. I think there was probably some kid there or something. I don't know. It was like the 60s. So,
Probably just took it out of someone's yard.
no, it was the 70s. It was
Brought it
75.
back.
Aw.
Yeah, no. it
So
was
they
74.
hid their car.
Anyways, yeah. So they had the red wagon, and Grandpa was like, "Well, I'll just wheel you to the car in the wagon or something." So Grandma got in the wagon, and they were pulling her, and everyone was just following them, I guess. And that's just a cute little wedding story. Turns out there was a picture of it. No one knew. No one knew about it. Like it was just stashed away in
That is so adorable.
some photo book. And so I don't remember if it was Mom or if it was my aunt, but they found it, and they're like, "Oh my goodness!" So they took it to Hy-Vee. They got a smash cake with the picture on it, and they set up. Someone bought a red wagon, and they set up a bunch of decorations and stuff, and they made like a little, almost looked like a shrine out of it, and it made both Grandma and Grandpa cry because they both didn't know the picture existed.
Aww.
So yeah,
Did one of you at least print it out and get it framed? And
oh yeah, we got
we
we still have the original picture.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and
It also makes me giggle a little because
do.
now all I'm thinking is that your grandparents had a "dude, where's my car" moment.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Or like dude, where'd you put my damn car moment?
Oh, man.
But yeah, it was really sweet, and then it took some convincing, but I got Grandma to get in the wagon, and Grandpa
Aww.
pulled her around again.
Jordan took a video of it, and like when I opened it, I was like, "Oh, my soul, my soul."
That's adorable.
Yeah, they're old, so it was a big deal, you know.
Well, you don't wind up married for 50 years if you're not up there
True.
in your digits.
Although Grandpa's he's the older one. He's only 70, so
Also, they got married like straight out of high school.
Yeah.
Only 70.
yeah.
That means he got married when he was 20?
Wow. Yeah, that's the math.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. He turned
That's
70
math.
this year, so
Yeah.
The math is mathin'.
Math is math.
The math is mathin'. Well,
Is your grandma younger?
Wait, he turned 70 this year. That means that
Turned.
he got married when he was 19.
turned. His birthday's in
No,
January.
no, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So he was
I
20
thought
when he got
I thought
married.
you said that he was turning 70.
No, turns.
this year.
Grandma
I was like,
turns.
wow.
Grandma was born in 55, so she turns 70 next December. So she is turning 69 this year.
Wow.
So she was 19 when they got married.
No,
Yes.
8.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
She was young. I know that much.
Yeah, they must have been like high school sweethearts, I would assume.
No,
They weren't.
We're not.
where we know.
No.
That's a story for
different day.
this podcast
Okay.
later.
Okay.
This
I
is when we
only
finally
learned-
convinced Jordan's grandfather to come on the podcast.
I learned how they met like a month ago. So
we'll talk about
Okay,
later.
okay,
We'll talk
okay.
about later.
I'll drop it.
Either way, my grandma was 21 when she had my mother. She is the oldest of the two children. There's my mom and there's my aunt. And grandma was 21 when she had her. My mom was 21 when she had me, and I am now 26.
My mom was 21 when she had my brother. I was 21 when I had my oldest.
See?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. My great-great-grandfather had my great-grandfather when he was 25. My great-grandfather had my grandfather when he was 25. My grandfather had my dad when he was 25. And my dad had me when he was 25.
wow,
Nice.
Sime. That
That's
means you
like-
should like adopt a 2-year-old.
That's like 100.
Oh, no, it's already done past. It's done.
Yeah, I know. You should adopt like a 2 or 3-year-old so the math stays math.
A child born when you were 25, yeah.
Yeah.
Not yours, but like a child.
It'd be mine.
I mean, yeah.
What's it like to break generational curses?
It's not really a generational curse.
Curse is a curse, good or bad.
I think it just accidentally happened because I don't think any single one of us was planned. So I think it was just
Okay.
coincidental that they were all 25 when it happened.
Yeah. I like to say that I was not a mistake, but I was definitely an accident. Yeah.
Oh,
Imagine having a planned pregnancy. That's crazy.
100% was.
I was told I couldn't have kids, like at all.
Oh.
From the time I was 16, right up until I got pregnant with my daughter, doctors kept telling me you have endometriosis, like you have an inverted cervix, like all of this different medical stuff. They're like, you could have sex and stand on your head and under a full moon and bounce up and down and you're not going to get pregnant. I was like, okay. And
Neat.
I had to go in for emergency gallbladder surgery. And I'm in the ER. They're like, nope, we got to do surgery. Like, your gallbladder's really infected. Like, we got to get this out. I'm like, okay. They're like, any chance you could be pregnant? And I'd been with my boyfriend for almost 2 years at that point. And I was like, nope, no chance. I can't get pregnant. And I was way too confident when I said that. And they're like, well, we got to do a blood test anyway. It's a medical procedure. And I was like, okay. They are getting ready to
Surprise.
put me under. I have the IV in my hand. They're getting ready to give me the go-go night juice. And the doctor looks at me and goes, so we got your results back? I'm like, oh, okay. My sister's standing right next to me. And they look at me and they're like, you're pregnant, but we're going to go ahead and do the surgery because now is the safest time to do it since you're only like 7 days along. Like, they told me it was almost a medical miracle. I even found out I was pregnant because I was that early.
I didn't
And
know
then
you
they knocked
could.
my ass out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I woke up and my sister looks at me and I'm kind of looking around. She goes, nope, it wasn't a dream. You're pregnant. And I wanted to kill her. She likes to tell that story to this day.
The way that my brain just like put your story into my head. You're pregnant. Boom. Knocked out.
That's how it felt. That's how it felt. It did. I was laying there kind of trying to comprehend what they were telling me. And then the next second I was waking up from surgery. They knocked me out right after they told me.
Such a weird feeling waking up in a completely different room than what you started.
Yeah.
I had surgery on my knee, and they were like talking to me while putting me under, and like I just remember the last thing I'm talking about is wrestling, like high school wrestling, and how I was a high school wrestler. And then the next minute, I'm in a completely different room. There's no one there. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm like,
You feel like you're losing it.
I'm like, where the fuck am I?
The only relation I can have to that is when I got my wisdom teeth out. But I was in the same room, and I also woke up twice during it. So like, I could definitely feel time passing.
Oh, I was awake
During
the whole
that
time.
whole-
All they did was like inject me with like numbing agent and then pull the teeth out. I could even feel them pulling them out. Like there was no
I
pain.
felt
there
that
was,
too.
There was no pain.
But that's because I woke up.
there was no pain. I was fully conscious, and after they'd pull one out, they'd like be talking to me, and I'd be talking to them. And then I went home.
I remember waking up from my last surgery from my cancer journey. Took my port out. And I just remember waking up to my mom yelling at my sister to be quiet. And I'm like, well, Mom, you woke me up. And so, yeah, I woke up, and it was awesome.
That's a really good just description of the family dynamic they have.
Yeah. Man. Like, it was awesome. Like, I felt like I had graduated high school or something before I had actually graduated high school. But, yeah, it was like, I'm done for sure. And so,
You need to shut the hell up.
It was very
Your
awesome.
brother is sleeping.
yeah.
But Jordan, kind of like what you were saying, I woke up when I had my heart surgery. I
During?
woke up
See, that's a little bit different than the
during
wisdom tooth
the
surgery.
procedure.
Oh, my gosh.
It
That's
wasn't
a completely
it
different
wasn't
thing than
open
getting some
heart. It
teeth
was not
removed.
open heart, thank God. But they did leads through both arteries in my neck, both arteries in my groin, and they had to go in, take the leads through my arteries to my heart.
During that?
And I woke up, like, I could feel it. It was a burning in my chest. And I remember looking at the nurse and going, that hurts. And her eyes got real big. And she looked at me and she goes,
You're not supposed to be awake yet.
what are you talking about? And I said, that's really hot. That hurts. And then I was out again. And then I woke up afterwards and I mentioned it to my nurse. And she was like, no, that didn't happen. I was like, bitch, what? Yes, it did. I'm not Delulu.
For the sake
Like,
of my career, that did not happen.
I was like, yeah, it did.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of Andre the Giant. He needed back surgery mid wrestling career, but the fact that it's Andre the Giant and he's 500 pounds and over 7 feet tall.
Oh, they couldn't give him the right amount of aesthetic.
The amount of like that knockout stuff they needed to do, they needed it to be exact, because if you give him too much, you'll kill him. But you gotta make sure you give him well over the normal amount, because then you'll have a giant with his back cut open,
Awake on
angry,
your
walking
table.
around.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So a side quest for me is I finally find this shirt after having lost it for a year. This was the Scaldstone / Too Many Words first ever t-shirt release, and it wasn't available to purchase anywhere. The only way you could get it was that you could win it, and that's why it says Triple Crown right here and then Too Many Words on the back. You had to have followed us on YouTube, subscribe to us on Spotify.
Feels like our last recording, we were still like trying to give it away.
And follow us on Instagram. That was like the big 3 that you had to prove that you were following us and supporting us. And those who did got a shirt. Well, we promised the first 5 people to do it would get it. And then we only made 3. And then we got the first 2. And so one person got it because only one person did it.
Well, technically 2 people.
Well, technically 2 people, but the other person,
he doesn't count.
He does not count. We don't dislike him or anything, but like, he can get his turn one day, you know. He's close enough to the podcast that he will definitely get future opportunities.
Yes.
Is it like a Voldemort situation?
No, his name is Mason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody's saying a
He's
name.
kind of a dumbass,
Yeah,
but like, we still love
it is
him.
kind of like
Village
Voldemort.
Village
He who
idiot
shall
cousin.
not be named.
Less of an idiot these days. He's sharpened up a little bit.
Well, he kind of had a kid. He kind of
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah. He matured.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
He needed
Highly
to.
recommend.
I didn't
Highly
say. I have no idea who this individual is. I'm not saying that it was needed or not needed. I'm just saying
You don't
you don't
have to.
have to. I've seen people not do it. So
Yeah. And so, yeah, that is a side quest of mine. Another side quest of mine is, holy crap, I'm just trying to focus on bettering myself as a human being.
Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
I
I
think
know
will
what you
not talk
meant.
about it.
I know what you meant in asking that. I have my own way of saying it without saying it. And so that's what I'm going to
Well, I'm just trying to see if you just want to say it.
Nope.
No? Okay, then
Nope.
we won't say it.
It's my personal life. I'll keep it as personal as I can. I've been trying to study what the Bible has to, I know I told you we don't get religious and stuff, but this is what I've been dealing with. I've been
Melanie
talking to
seems
God
confused.
a lot. I've been reading the Bible quite a bit. Trying to fully understand how and why God loves us. Because I feel like that is an appropriate thing for me to have to understand. Because at 24, as much as I want to have someone that could be my wife in my life, I must first understand what it takes to be a husband. So I've been trying
Work.
to. I've been trying to push my way to being supportive, providing, high character, merciful, and just learn how to love unconditionally, learn how to forgive easily, learn how to respect myself while also respecting others to the fullest
You went
extent.
to Casey and Michaela's wedding, didn't you?
Yep.
So something that me and my wife actually took away was what their pastor said.
Yeah, I forgive you.
The I forgive you stuff.
Mhm.
And we do that quite a bit. Mostly because I'm a dumbass. But a relationship at that level requires time, energy, the willing to admit when you're wrong, which is a very hard skill to learn, especially for a man. We're very stubborn.
Came here for a reason. I forgot what it was.
Really, just
Yeah, it's
got
fine.
big. We got big egos.
We get-
It's okay.
Big egos.
And then the willingness to open up more,
Yep.
because a lot of men nowadays, society is a lot more forgiving of emotions. But like when I was growing up, that was not
yeah.
a thing yet.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Um,
I think the best advice that I ever saw on relationships was a guy was asked, and this was actually on a podcast that I follow, and a guy was asked before him and his wife got married. She said, like, what's wrong? Because something was bothering him. He was like, I have a question for you, but you could very well leave me if I ask you this question. He's like, but I've got to ask it before we get married. She was like, okay, what's your question? And he said, what if I find somebody better? She goes, oh, that was it? And he was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, no. She's like, you will. She said, you will. She said, you'll meet somebody younger. She said, you'll see women that are prettier. You'll see women that make more money. You'll see women that seem to have their shit together more than me. She's like, that's going to happen. She said, part of being in a marriage is choosing the person that you chose every day.
Yeah.
She said, looking at all of your options that you supposedly have on the table, she said, and still choosing the person that you're with. She said, that's the commitment part.
That is the commitment part. Yeah, I actually just saw you explain that to Trevor and Austin in your episode. Yeah, and that's really special. That's something that I actually asked my last partner. What if someone better comes along? And she acted like that was a stupid question. She's like,
No, because it will happen. As you get older, you and the person that you're with will both age.
well, she didn't deny that she would run into someone better. She just said, "Why would I do that? You're my person." And so, yeah, that meant a lot. At least in, hindsight.
I was gonna say hindsight.
In hindsight.
2020.
And so, yeah, finding someone that is actively knowing that, yes, love is high emotions, relationships is high emotions, but there's something that people don't understand to the love is a choice aspect. I choose you,
you have
every
to.
single day, because once the emotions go away, or at least not as consistently, that's when the true I choose you because I love you starts. Right? And that's, really special.
Another thing that makes a really good relationship is a relationship that's built on trust.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, if you don't have trust,
Because
you don't have
if you don't have
squat.
trust.
If there is no trust, like complete wholehearted trust, because like some people have asked me since I've moved and everything, are you afraid that your wife's gonna get with another man? And I'm like, no. One, she hardly ever leaves the house. Two, we're both loyal to each other to like no end. So
Yeah.
no, I'm not worried about that. It's not even a thought in the back of my mind. Like, and she also goes on business trips
Oh yeah.
because she runs her own business. And people have asked me, "Oh, are you afraid that she's gonna meet someone on this business trip?" No.
Well, and I also think it's important because you hear, oh my goodness, I don't know how many times I've seen on Facebook and YouTube and in TikTok the whole 50-50 argument. Oh, you got to bring 50, like it's got to be 50-50. No, thank you. I want somebody when I am in a relationship, they can look at me and go, okay, I woke up and my battery's at 70%. And I can look at them and go, yeah, I'm about the same. And we can figure out how to make up the 30% for both of us together.
Yeah.
Because you both are not going to be able to bring your A game every day. And there are going to be off days where you're both on an off day. And it's your ability to problem solve and compromise on those bad days that's going to matter.
Yep.
Because there are going to be days you're both at 100. There's going to be days one of you's at a 0 and one of you's at 100. And then there's going to be days you both wake up and you're at a 20. What are you going to do on those days where you're both at 20?
Both in it together.
That, like, one of those, okay, I'm going to my room. I'm going to read and meditate and listen to music and try to recharge. You go to the shop or you go to the garage or you go hang out with your friends or whatever you got to do to recharge. And then we'll come back in like an hour and reconvene and see where we're at. Like, what's the battle plan?
Yeah. I like that.
It is a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have a battle buddy, you shouldn't be with them.
You're in it together.
Yes.
Tired of all
Jordan.
of these spam bots commenting on our event page stuff saying, please register with me for the event. I'm like, why? Why do you do this?
I don't know you.
All right. Are we far enough into the episode to ask the question of the episode?
That's what I was actually initially doing, was trying to find answers.
Yeah, you try working
Did
on it.
everybody
last-
say their side quest?
The last one.
Oh, Melanie, you got any side quests, miscellaneous stuff that's been dealing with you or you've been dealing with it? Maybe it's a funny story or a weird story. It's just anything unrelated to the main event,
It's something.
which is...
Okay, so something that just seems to like circle me like a dark cloud. I have not had a dating profile for ages now, probably since I've been back from North Carolina.
You're graduating.
No, I recently, like literally 2 days ago, made one.
Oh.
Because I'm like, you know what?
Still yay.
I'm gonna have to sift through the shit to find somebody that's worth it. So okay, whatever. But
You gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet.
I don't have to break anybody. I will if I have to, but that's not my goal. But I think I'm finding that my biggest obstacle and my biggest frustration, because I had a guy ask me, well, how many other guys am I competing with? And I said, you're not competing with any other guys. You're competing with me. And he was like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? And I said, no. I said, the peace and comfort and provision that I provide myself being alone, that's what you have to compete with. That's what you have to top. And he couldn't grasp it. And I'm like, yeah, you're not competing with other people. Like, if I'm talking to you, if we're going out on dates, I'm literally not going to talk to anybody else. But you are competing with the peace that I provide myself, with the lifestyle I provide myself, with the treatment I provide myself. And I love myself very much. I think I treat myself very well. I go to the gym. I eat right. I try to take care of myself. Once in a while, I'll get to take myself to dinner or spoil myself if I get the chance. And it's like, if you can't top how I treat myself, sorry about your luck, Chuck, but it's not going to happen.
Has dating changed since I've been out of the dating game? When did we start competing with the
I didn't
other
understand.
males?
Well, I guess
When did
he
we
thought,
become basic creatures?
I think he thought because it's an online dating profile that other people were messaging me, which does happen. Like, if you put up a profile, it does happen.
Yeah, that's
But
the
that
name
doesn't-
of the game. But
But
like,
that doesn't mean
you're-
that I'm out here going, okay, I'm going out on a date with you Monday and you Tuesday and you Thursday and you Saturday. Like, I'm just not that type of person.
See, for me, it just doesn't make quite. It doesn't click in my head why you would think that you're competing with other people. You're not there to compete with other people. You're there to sell yourself. That is the entire point. You're trying to find a partner, not compete in a competition.
Well, and
Like, you're just there to, like, be like, this is what I can bring to the table. This is me. This is my flaws. This is my strengths. Does this work for you? You know, it's that type of dealio. It's not, how many other men do I have to beat out of the competition? I'm ready. Put me in,
That's
coach.
also not a great question to
I'm
ask
ready.
anyways.
it just came across as very tacky.
It-
Then the fact that he could not grasp when I told him, you aren't competing with other people. You are literally up against me as your opponent.
Yeah.
For me, in my head, it just sounds like a red flag.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
He got blocked. So
Ouch.
For me, it just
that red flag guy on
Well-
Instagram, have you seen him?
Maybe.
It
He
just
runs across the yard with holding a red flag, and he responds to YouTube videos like that. He'll go, red flag.
That's great.
It's great.
I have seen that. I
It's
I think
just-
his name is Dustin Pointer.
Yes,
You
it is.
definitely have to check him out.
It
He's
just
funny.
seems possessive.
Possessive, yeah.
It does.
That's what that gives off to me. It's like possessive. Like,
Yeah.
you're mine. You're only mine.
Dating
you're
scene
only going
is
to be mine. That's
always
not okay.
scary.
The dating scene is trash,
So scary.
and the entitlement is real. Like, don't give anybody your number, because if you do, and this goes for men too, because I have guy friends who have dealt with this. Like, if you give them your number,
Oh, everybody be crazy.
no, they act like you are now obligated
You
to
owe me
respond.
something.
No,
You
you're
owe me
obligated to
something
respond
now.
as soon as they message you.
That's not how it worked, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a house phone. I'm gonna get rid of my cell phone. I'm really gonna fuck with people. Like, oh, you got a phone? Sure do. AT&T right there on the wall.
That'd be really funny.
I got a landline you can call.
My grandpa still got a landline.
You up to any side quests, Simon?
I moved. I no
Oh,
longer
yeah,
live.
that's huge.
I
Let's
no
talk about
longer
that.
live in Little Mexico. I live in Little Chicago now.
Well, we could probably say where you live.
Most people that live here will understand what I'm talking
we
about.
already have. I don't.
Yeah.
I've never heard a Tumwa called.
Oh yeah, that's its nickname is Little Chicago.
Well, Atumwa, yes, he has
And-
chosen
and-
to live 2 hours away from the studio.
An hour and like 40 minutes.
More or
Don't-
less.
Don't exaggerate.
Depends on whose
2
car we're
hours
taking.
with bathroom breaks.
Yeah, we don't need those.
But anyways,
Taking a bathroom break for 2 hours. For
We're another-
a little
We
under
piss
2
in
hours.
Mountain Dew bottles.
another sign of the new era. Yes, Syme is going to be a little bit more of an obstacle to get on in every single episode.
Now,
But
we have.
we're going to try to make virtual presence.
We have
happen.
thrown out the idea of adding me in virtually.
Yeah.
Which we've
So,
done in the
Yeah.
past.
We're going to put your camera box at Jordan's crotch every episode.
That's fine.
And I'll just,
We
talk,
should just-
I'll talk to Jordan's crotch whenever I address you.
I'm gonna do like weird things on camera, just like. Hi
He's gonna be
guys,
that
don't
guy
worry
at
about-
work that gets on the Zoom call with no shirt, pajama shorts, freaking going scratching himself like this, and then his boss goes, "You got to turn on the camera."
That's so good.
Oh, I'll be the one sitting there with no shirt on
See,
camera.
we just gotta use that picture.
What picture did you just pull up?
I don't know what you're
His
talking about.
hairless toad picture. Oh, man.
Hairless.
Are you talking
Toads
about
are
when I
hairless.
first shaved
Why did
my
you have
head?
Yeah,
to
you're right.
specify.
You're right. You're right. You know, as opposed to the
That is-
hairy toad.
That is not
Hairy
the most
toads.
flattering. You have like thousands of photos that would be more flattering than that one. There
What
we
the
go.
heck?
That one works.
Oh man,
You were so young back then. So full of life.
I didn't know
Look at
that.
you now.
I didn't know you got chunky before you stopped being a kid.
Oh, I
thought the chunkiness
was-
happened when you were just an adult.
I mean,
it did, but like way
that-
back in the day, I was a heavier set kid.
Ah.
and
That
then
was-
in high school, I got really skinny
see,
during
that was
wrestling
like,
season,
he was like
and
19,
then
maybe 20 in that picture.
and then I gained all of that weight back by working at Hertz Donuts.
All right. So, Syme, if you ever move again, who are you asking to help you?
I'm never moving again.
I hate moving.
This
I'm
is the
there
last.
with ya.
This is the last stop.
All
my
right.
friends. Like I will retire
Granted,
at this house.
I was.
If I'm gonna buy more property, I'm gonna have it furnished. I'm not moving anything anywhere ever again. It is where it's going to remain forever.
I was literally the only person in the friend group that helped him move last time. We had James's 2 younger brothers. They also helped, but they're
James
not
and
part of
Crystal
the-
also help. So
I didn't see them.
Hey, man. Just because you
They
don't
were
see
out
it,
there.
don't mean it's happening or it's not
I
happening.
guess true. Either way,
Like
Um,
racism.
If I move again, it's gonna be out in a house in the middle of nowhere.
so that's what
I
he
want
did.
a big ass garden, and I want solar panels, and I want a windmill, and I want all the things. I want all the animals, all of it.
When I helped him move last time, he said he was not gonna have people help again. He was gonna hire movers, and then he didn't do that.
It sounded good when he said it.
Yeah.
Whenever I need to move, it's going to be all my friends'
you
dreams
do know
come
that
true.
the price of
Because I only
movers
have
has
like a
increased
few things.
exponentially.
I have like the
Yeah.
least amount of things compared to all my friends. And
It went from being
the
reasonably
house that
priced
I'm
to
looking
being
at,
outrageously priced.
I'm like in talks with the,
Hence
the
why I
current
was not
owner,
able
Yeah.
to do it.
Oh,
and
cool.
they're gonna
Yeah.
move in like a couple years. So it's weird when I say I know where I'm gonna live in a few years.
No, that
But like
gives
it's
you a
literally
timeline
down
and
the
like
street.
a plan.
Yeah, it's literally down the street, and it's gonna be the easiest move ever. So,
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
considering you have nothing.
Yeah. You act like it's a bad thing.
You're a
is a bad-
minimalist.
You have nothing. I have
nothing
quite a
is
few
sad.
collectibles, but
I have moved and literally left damn near everything I own several times. I've been homeless. I've lived in a tent with my kids.
oh,
I've lived in a 2,000 square foot, $2,000 a month house. Like I've been up and I've been as low as you could go.
wow.
And I would honestly say the experience that I loved the most and that I've talked to my kids about that they loved the most was us living in a tent. Like they
Where?
thought we were on vacation. We lived by the
Camping
Fontenelle Lake.
trip.
Yeah. They did. They thought we were on vacation. They did. And I think I'm like I look back and at the time I thought I was failing horribly. Oh my God, did I feel low? But then hearing about their experience with it later, like years later, it was like, you know what? I must have been doing something right because they didn't even know we were struggling. They thought it was a vacation.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
We've got 15
I love
minutes
that
left
for you.
on recording, so.
Okay, well, what's the question of the episode? Melanie, you got any good bright ideas?
Let's see.
Could be
A
related.
good question for us or for viewers
for
or
the
for
viewers
both?
to answer for next week.
You can always do both.
Yes.
We can answer.
Okay,
whatever you
well,
give
because
us.
this kind of goes along with what we were talking about. What is the biggest obstacle for marriages now in comparison to what do you think the biggest obstacle was 50 years ago?
The internet.
Well, Jordan's
No,
answer is the internet.
Jordan's answer is the internet, and that very well could.
What's the
that's-
shortest and sweetest way you could put that?
What is the biggest difference in challenges to marriage between now and 50 years ago?
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Your turn. What do you think it
I
is?
think the internet was just as much of a benefit as it was a
Detriment.
cancer
Yeah.
to the world.
Yeah, because like it really opens you up to literally all of your possible options. You can reach anybody, you know.
Even the bad ones.
And for those who didn't understand what you and I were talking about a little bit earlier, you know, there's all those people that will go for someone who comes around and is better, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's also one of those. I think that the internet, just like anything before, it really matters how you handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Because alcohol could be just as bad, if not worse, than the internet.
That's true.
Drugs,
Yeah.
cheating, anything. Not being trustworthy, not being honest with your partner. I mean, take your pick. Anything in large, copious amounts is not good. Period. So I think you can't. I'm really interested to see what your viewers say.
Me too. Hopefully this is one where a lot of people comment.
So mine is a little different.
What?
Yeah, and the internet's a big part of it. But it really boils down to how you were raised.
True.
Ooh, good answer.
Because back then, you were raised that you were to have a family, you were to work, and then you died.
Sure.
So, you stayed with your partner, whether you liked that partner or not, like 50 years ago.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
that's-
Well,
also
and I'm
that.
definitely interested to see the difference in answers between men and women.
And old people and young people.
Yes, because I know that there will be a difference.
Oh yeah, with old people, it's going to be a lot.
This will be our
different of
first
an answer.
answers in a long time, so we are either getting nothing or all of the answers. So,
yeah.
I'm excited to read them.
yeah.
I will definitely be on the lookout. Because I have my answer, but I think I'm actually going to comment it when
All
you
right.
post it.
That's,
Sick.
That's fine.
We
We'll
should ask
have
it on all
one.
platforms.
You'll have one to
Yeah,
discuss.
we'll
at
have
least.
one. Anyways, on to the main event / meat and potatoes of the podcast, which is you, Melanie. Melanie Blomquist, the future. When's it coming out?
It is coming out the first weekend in August.
All right. Of the future podcast, we need to talk. Melanie is surely not a beginner in podcasting. She has she's been well versed in her experience with podcast production and such things. And so she would love to promote her next show.
Oh,
Tell
absolutely.
us about it.
Yes, tell us
So-
about it. I'm intrigued now.
Okay, so to give you a little bit of a backstory on how this got started, me and my best friend, Sonia Ray, who goes by Ray, who is doing the podcast with me, we used to joke, like, back in, like I said, we've been friends for 19 years. So early to mid 20s, when YouTube first started to take off, about how it would be hilarious if we could just have somebody follow us around with a camera, or if we had the ability to record ourselves, because we would get into these really funny, really ridiculous situations and hijinks, and we'd both end up laughing until our stomachs hurt because of the ridiculous nature of whatever happened. And it was one of those, damn, I wish I could like capture this and play it later, because
We
I
had a couple moments like
yeah. And
Didn't
it got
take
to the
time.
point, especially since I've been the guest on a couple of podcasts and was on my own podcast with Catherine and Heather, that me and my best friend started talking about it more, and we were like, we should really do this. Like, we should. And then we started looking at the podcasts that we enjoy and what they do that we like, and then the stuff that they don't do that, like, maybe we wish they did.
Gosh, is it that boring, Jordan?
And we got to
tired.
the point where we were like, okay, then let's do it. Like, absolutely, we can do this. And we created our Facebook post, or our Facebook page, and we have our equipment and the whole 9 yards. And I have a couple of episode names to give you guys an idea of what we're going to talk about. So our very first episode, obviously, we need to talk, but about what? So that literally, we need to talk about what? And then you go on, and we've got toddlers and teens, aka thoughts and prayers, because she has a toddler and I have teens, and absolutely. And then trending downward is going to be one. What the fuck is wrong with Cheesecake Factory?
I like that one. I like that one so much.
too.
Ain't shit people.
Oh,
And then let's talk about ... Wait, can we get arrested for this? So, and we want to keep an open forum. And one of the things that really resonated with us was people's ability to avoid difficult conversations instead of learning how to have them respectfully. We can agree to disagree. We can have a very open discourse and still respect each other, even though we don't agree on something. And I think there's a lot of hot topics and trends and takes that people don't discuss because they're afraid it's going to push buttons. And so we're going to do a little bit of everything.
I like that.
Oh my God, a podcast for Isaac and Jordan to start listening to. Wow. What a fantastic thing.
Hey, we have 2 rules, which is don't get too heavy on the religion, don't get too heavy on the politics, and that there are plenty of other outlets.
You do know that you
for
can
us
talk
to not have to talk about it. But if you want to talk about it, I would so empower you to do so.
You can talk about both as long as you're doing it respectfully.
I just never have seen a reason for me to bring it up personally.
You don't have.
I don't think.
You don't have to come out the gate and be like, your freaking opinion is stupid. You're
No,
stupid.
no.
How dare you?
I don't think it's going to be saturated with politics or religion. It's just our thought process going into this
Ouch.
is that those won't be topics we will avoid just because they might upset
just
somebody.
everything's on the table.
Exactly. Nothing is off the table. To preface this, and we're on video so people can see me. Like I said earlier, I glow in the dark. I am about as white as you can get, and my best friend is black. My children are biracial. She has a daughter whose father is also black. That is her boyfriend. And so we've got like this mixed modge podge of life experiences and like different criteria that we check off. And it just feels like both of our experiences and lives have been different enough and encompassing enough to bring some out of the woodwork viewpoints to the table.
I really like that because you know what? There's too many podcasts of 3 white dudes talking about the same crap that they like.
I think it's going to be fun, and we want to have guests. I would absolutely love it if we could have all you guys as a guest.
Ooh!
We have a couple of guests already lined up, and I think one of the reasons why this is going to work is because we are going in this with the attitude of if you don't want to listen, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
That was what I said.
We're doing this for fun. Like, we're doing this because somewhere somebody out there who listens is going to be like, you know what? I didn't know other people felt like this.
Yeah.
And even if one person feels like that, it's worth it.
Yeah, you're doing it because you want to do it.
Yeah, we're doing it because we hang out all the time anyway. We're hilarious as hell, and somebody needs to see it besides us.
Yeah.
So, why not?
I like that. Yeah. You have any questions?
What has been the biggest hiccup for you guys in creating a podcast, being on a podcast, maintaining a podcast?
Honestly, I'd say we really have not had a lot. The biggest one for me personally is Syme's availability. But that's something that I need to get over personally just because like Syme is a tertiary member. He is important, but he is not the death of
For
the
once,
podcast.
I am a side character.
You're a side piece.
Ooh.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's his new nickname.
I'm a snack.
No.
You're a snack.
My biggest hiccup is Jordan. keeping him happy is worse than having a girlfriend.
It's okay. You don't keep me happy anyways.
Exactly.
Oh, he is like a girlfriend.
You don't keep me satisfied.
Of course, I am joking, but the biggest hiccup was really getting over the fear that the podcast would end my friendship with Jordan. Because
Yeah.
in the early days, and you're going to run into this with your friend, I guarantee it, there are creative differences. It's a promise in this journey. And there would be times where Jordan and I, we really get into it, you know. But the way I see our friendship, it's like those two hockey players that get into a fist fight mid-game, and then they go have a beer at the local bar together afterward, you know. It's that unconditional love that we have for each other as friends that we've never ran into something this dire. But I legit had these fears of one day it's just going to be an argument that is just so bad that not only is it going to keep us from doing the podcast, but we're not going to be friends like that anymore after the podcast. And so that was an irrational fear that I had doing the podcast. And so the hiccup is being fearful of the podcast being bigger than the friendship. We're doing the podcast because we are friends. We're not friends because of the podcast.
Because of the podcast.
And so, the hiccup was just adjusting to working on things together that you've never previously worked on. And so there's that.
We may have a leg up on you on that one.
I'm
though.
sure you guys have
Well,
been friends for like 19 years, you said?
Yeah, I only say
Yeah.
that because we've worked together.
Okay.
We've worked a couple of jobs together, like actual paid jobs together.
Oh, so this is just another drop in the pan. This ain't nothing new.
Well, being friends as long as we have, like we've both experienced the death of family members together, like went with each other to funerals. We've experienced birth, death, marriage, divorce.
Oh, so you're like tight.
She is the godmother to my children, and I am her daughter's godmother.
Never mind.
Like,
She's not going to have any of these issues.
like we literally sat out, and maybe this is my OCD, but we sat down and we have like our segments listed out. We have questions we want to ask. We have topics we want to touch on.
I'm the
we
godfather
have
of someone's child.
we have the construct of how we want each episode to look, how much time we want to spend on them, like the whole 9 yards. And we kind of had our discourse. I won't even say disagreements, but we had our thoughts to put on the table and like change things before we ever even decided on the podcast.
You're able to have discussions with your friend and not get into a full-blown argument that almost ruins your friendship over something completely arbitrary that does not matter.
Like
Yes,
drinking
you-
a bottle of soda.
You have a giant leg up on these two.
I could give her a hug and she could tell me that I smell like ass, and I'd be like, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Like that. She always has my back.
Yeah.
She always tells me what I need to hear, not necessarily what I want to hear, and she keeps me grounded.
Oh, so your friend's like an actual OG.
Yeah.
Like
No arguments
like
on whether or not you're a content creator.
Well, that's just because you're stupid.
I'm super excited. Like I said, it'll be out the first weekend of August. And we're shooting for Saturday. And it's called We Need to Talk, or WN2T
So
on
it's going to release
Facebook.
every Saturday?
That's what we're shooting for, yes.
What time on every Saturday?
We're thinking about noon on Saturday.
So we have some competition.
Yeah, we got to compete.
boys. That's exactly.
Who
what
are you going to
it is.
listen to first?
So
The same exact release times in the week.
Well, our goal is to have it out before noon. Like, that's not our drop time. That's just our time to beat.
You could really just cuck our podcast forever and just release at like 11:50, and then people are already listening to you before we come out, and then just steal all of our.
But that's
viewers.
hilarious. If we could set it up so that I release our episode and then have a link to your episode and the time it drops in the description.
That'd
so
be
they
the
just
biggest favor ever.
They just go from one to the other.
Oh, we would love you for that.
Enjoy 3 hours of quality content.
Yeah.
But
Unless Jordan's really into a topic, then
And
get
then
ready
it's
for 7
6.
hours of content.
we're super excited. We're going to try to keep our episodes down to about 60 to 90 minutes. That's where we'd like to keep it.
Yeah.
We're at the 90 minute. That's what we shoot for.
We're aiming for 60 to start off with, just because we want everybody to get a good dose of everything that we're talking about. But at the same time, with some of the topics we do plan to discuss, we know we're going to hit that 90 mark.
Cool.
Absolutely. But
And then,
I'm excited.
just to add mine in here, the biggest hiccup that I've experienced while doing this podcast was concerning our
Paper mill.
our professional lives.
Oh, I kind
our
of forgot about
professional
that
jobs. Yeah, we had to delete quite a few
We-
episodes because
we-
of his problematic paper mill, and he's a painter,
Well, they're not.
and
they're
I'm
not,
a professional film critic.
They're
so-
not problematic. I was naughty. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
The paper
It's all your
mill
fault.
has forgiven me. It's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So yeah, we have fake jobs now, and so yeah, I think our biggest hiccups have been really happening just recently, like
Not to
trying
mention,
to
we
get
got-
into the thick of things
We
after
got
being
over-
away
we-
for so long.
We got through it real quick, real easy. It hit us hard, and then we hit back even harder.
mean,
So
yeah.
we
Another
blew
hiccup
through
is
it,
like
so.
how we want to deal with partners when we have zero training in PR.
I think we're doing a great job.
I think so far we are.
We got to get a little
Yeah.
better at it.
We're
We-
professionals at flying by
we-
the seat of our pants.
you know,
but-
I
well,
have
I'm-
a couple of tools that'll help. We'll have to
I'm
talk about it
thinking
after we get
about
done.
okay.
Shout out to Dwarven Workshop. Go and check them out. They're in the Myrtle Mall.
Shout out to Ice Cream Sunday.
Should I
Shout out to
Should I
Floor
read my
Cinema.
ad read?
Go and
Yeah. If you got some ad reads, we can start doing
go
the
and watch
closeout and
movies
stuff
there.
like that.
They've
How do
got a
you
good
feel about
aesthetic.
being on the podcast? Too many words for the first time, Melanie.
I really, really enjoyed it. This is definitely different than the podcasts I've been on, which is not a bad thing. And
That's a good thing.
I think every podcast should be different. Like it should have
Exactly.
something that sets itself apart.
Yeah.
That I
What's
listen
unique
to it.
is you.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I have a ton of podcasts that I love to listen to. Some are like psychotic murder mystery stories, and then some are like history podcasts, and then I have inspirational podcasts, and then I have like podcasts like you guys and Ice Cream Sunday and even Meatless Monday that I was on, that are just people that you can find common ground with.
I like listening to dipshits be dipshits. That's my favorite
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
Jordan loves listening to our podcast.
When I do listen to
Yeah.
podcasts, it's like what I just said. But I don't listen to podcasts.
He listens
at
to
all.
Ice Cream Sunday the most. He just insulted the crap out of them.
What do you mean?
You just called him dippity doodahs, baby girl.
They know that though.
Yeah, apologize to Nana.
Yeah.
You cussed.
To give you a little bit of a preview, we do have a couple of segments planned. One of them is going to be going over dating profiles, because that has been like a topic on almost every podcast I've been on.
Yeah, even this
And
one.
we see some of the weird, like I've got to show my best friend when I see weird ones, and I've seen some weird ones. So
I don't know why, but I really hope that one of them is Armin's profile.
that's
Oh, I'm
going,
I'm certain.
that's going
we
to
need
be
to have Armin to
that-
match with her.
That's going to be like a 5-10 minute segment of every episode where we are going through dating
That's great.
profiles. And we are also going to have a segment of inmate pen pals. That is a page that Senya follows on Instagram.
Okay.
And just what the fuck news. Literally, we are both going to take our time during the week finding a what the fuck news article that you cannot believe is actually news, verify and research and make sure that it is actually news,
They're just us, but women.
and report on it.
The fuck news.
Hey, man.
Yeah, the fuck news is literally what it's called.
All right, do your ad reads.
All right, this is our only ad read at the current moment in time, but I will gladly read it.
Get wood.
This week's episode is brought to you in part by Floor Cinema and Cafe, a wonderful and fantastic location to fulfill all of your movie-going needs with affordable prices and affordable snacks. Fresh popcorn, candy, and you can even get fresh brewed coffee to enjoy with a companion while you relax in their cozy and welcoming lobby. with plenty of seating and tables for all of your movie discussing needs. And for those of age, you can also get your favorite wines and brews on tap to enjoy during your experience there. So swing on over to the Fleur Cinema and Cafe located at 4545 Fleur Drive, Des Moines, Iowa, and enjoy a movie or enjoy the company of friends over a drink of your choosing.
I've
And
been to
if you
Fleur
like
Cinema. I
rocks,
loved it.
you can
It's
go
great.
and check
We're
out
there every
the
month.
Rehomer
We're there every
on
month.
Whatnot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Live
Yeah.
podcast there every month. Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
when I went, I'm trying to remember what it was to see. I think it was A Star is Born. And I took my mom, and we went, and we were able to just chill and relax, and it was very laid back. It was awesome. I liked
We
the
were
atmosphere.
an active part of their red carpet event for the
Oscars.
Oscars.
Oh, that's awesome.
We were even
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were on the news in the background, but still.
Channel 13.
Hey, it counts.
I was in every frame.
Anyways, you can find the Too Many Words podcast on thescaldstone.com, where you can find literally anything else. So if you can't remember anything else, thescaldstone.com is where you'll find everything else. But we are on YouTube, Scaldstone Productions. We are on Spotify, Google and Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Too Many Words podcast, simple search there. Find us on Instagram and Facebook. Too Many Words podcast, pretty easy. Am I missing anything?
Yes.
We have a TikTok, Too Many Words pod. Am I missing anything?
Yes.
What am I missing?
If you like rocks and other crystals, go to the Rehomer
We already
on
did
Whatnot.
ad read. We only need to do one per
Yeah,
episode.
go to the Rehomer.
When you talked over me when I tried to do
How
it.
about this? We'll throw sponsors on at the front of the episode, and then we'll.
Yeah,
put
we really
us at
need
the
to, like,
end of the
write this
episode.
out so
Yeah.
that we can-
Yeah, as I say, it's a new era. Things are a little bit
podcast.
rough. Things are changing. Okay,
We're
Who knows
rusty,
where we're
okay?
recording
Leave me
next-
alone.
Who
People
knows
like
where
it
we're
rough.
recording next week?
Just throwing that out there.
And so,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Pulling.
Okay.
so at the very end of the podcast, each of us dedicate the podcast to someone or something. It could be silly, it could be serious, it could be literally anything. We've dedicated the podcast to super dumb stuff before, and so it could be whatever you want. Simon, who or what do you dedicate this podcast
Your
episode out
cat
to?
is shaped weird right
Can
now.
I go last?
Sure. Jordan, who or what do you dedicate this podcast episode out to?
Melanie's cat, 100%.
She's
All right.
asleep right now. She looks like an owl.
She is shaped weird.
She fell over asleep. That's what she does.
I often also just
That
pass
is
out
adorable.
where I
She
stand.
just fell over and fell asleep.
Wow. Melanie, who or what do you dedicate this podcast episode out to?
Honestly, and this is going to sound really self-centered, but I don't give a hoot at this point. Personal progress and growth. I've been going
Heck yeah.
through that, a lot of that. Physically,
good one.
mentally, everything.
That
And
sounds self-centered.
you'd be surprised.
You're an advocate for
I am.
people being aware.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely be emotionally aware, self-aware. And if you don't like something, especially about yourself, change it.
Being the best person you can be is not
Do
self-centered.
something.
That's just good.
Given everything that has happened in my personal life and everything that has happened in my professional life, I've been talking to God a lot, and I know I've pointed this out already. I'll keep it short and sweet. This episode goes out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because homie has been really coming in clutch lately, and so thank you. Simon.
I dedicate this episode to Hawk Tuah.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, it was all heartfelt, and then it went all silly.
All right. Amen on 3.
Amen on 3.
1, 2, 3.
Amen.
Amen.